Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Puranaanamalaya Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Bhatvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Klishtakarine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Urave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvalokahite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetranana Padabaho Sahasranamnam Stavanam Prashastam Niruchyate Janma Jaradishantyai. Vedyo Vaidya Sadha Yogi Viraha Madhavo Madhuho Atindriyo Mahamayo Mahotsaho Mahabalaha. So this is the 31st sloka of which we are seeing the meanings. And in the last class we saw the meaning of Mahamaya, the great magician. The great magician, because of whose magical powers, he makes this entire world, this prapancha, appear real to us. Because he wields the Maya Shakti. And it is very difficult to overcome this Maya Shakti. As I was telling you, this Maya has got two powers. In the Shastra, these powers are referred to as Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. These are the two powers the Maya wields. Avaranam means to cover, to wheel, V-E-I-L, to wheel. And Vikshepa means to project. So what the Maya does is that what is the actual reality of this prapancha? The only reality, the absolute reality, which is Brahman, which is consciousness, it wields it, covers it, as it were. And then it projects a world which we take it as real. So the Maya plays two roles. One is what is the truth of this world? It covers it, wields it, keeps it hidden from us. And at the same time, it is projecting this world as if it is real, and that is why we take it as the world as real. So this is Maya Shakti's powers. That's why Krishna said, Mama Maya Duratyaya. It is very, very difficult to overcome this Maya. You can overcome this Maya only by one method. Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya, self-knowledge. By undertaking study of the Shastras, in-depth study of the Shastras, understanding the reality of the world, applying our logical thinking to that. Go on questioning. Eventually, you will arrive at the truth of this world. So, Shastra is the main source, the main pramanam, and we use logic as a support to understand the true nature of this world. This is the role of Maya, and all this is being done by whom? By Parameshwara, who is a Mahamayavi. And that was the meaning of this word, Mahamaya, this Nama. Then the second one, the next Nama is Mahotsaha. Mahotsaha means the one who has got great utsaha, great enthusiasm. Jagat Utpatti Sthiti Layartham Udyuktavat Mahotsaha. So the utsaha of Bhagavan is Mahan. It's very great. Why great? Because that enthusiasm is consistent and also it is continuous. At no point in time Bhagavan becomes tired. Okay, I have done so much of creation today. Let me take some rest. I'm feeling bored doing this every day. Suppose the sun says, every day I rise in the morning at 6 o'clock, around 6 o'clock. And then I set in the evening. Every day, without fail, I do it. I've become very bored with this. Don't we say that? We go to office every day, come back in the evening, and after some time, we're so bored going to office every day. We wait for the weekend to come, Saturday, Sunday. For those who have got Saturday also as a holiday. Otherwise, there's only one, only Sunday. And on that day, what we do? We want to sleep till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. That is the greatest objective goal in our life. Come Sunday, we want to sleep. Get rid of all that boredom of the week. Suppose the sun does the same thing. I have been for centuries, for eons, I have been coming every day, morning rising and evening setting. Let me actually take a holiday for a week. Sun disappears. Just imagine what will happen. It cannot disappear because it is of the nature of Bhagavan, and that Bhagavan is Mahotsaha. Enthusiasm never fades. Thus his duty, whatever he does, creation, sustenance and dissolution. Even within the Jiva's life, we will see all these things. Birth, sustaining and death. For the Prapancha also it's the same thing. Creation, sustenance and dissolution, which is nothing but the death of the Prapancha for this. Death does not mean the end. It is only from manifest form going to unmanifest form. And this duty or this job or this task, Bhagavan carries it out enthusiastically, continuously. He is never tired of creating. So much of variety is there in the creation. Amazing, unimaginable amount of varieties. Even when you take one flower, let us say hibiscus, the varieties of hibiscus that we come across is mind-boggling. Even in our society, there's so many different varieties of hibiscus flowers are there. Plants all look the same, but the flowers are all different colors. And within the color also different designs. Beautiful. So Bhagavan is enthusiastic, creating more and more and more. And this is only what we have all discovered as human beings. There are undiscovered beauties, so many lying at the depth of the oceans, beyond the skies, in the universe. We don't even know them. So Bhagavan is very enthusiastic in creating them, sustaining them. And when the time is over, dissolving them, again creating them. This again and again creation, sustenance and dissolution, never he gets tired of it. That is why he is Mahotsaha. Even sitting in a class, our attention span is very limited. Initially, we may all come very enthusiastically. We can see that. How many people were there in the first 2-3 classes of Vishnu Sahasranamam? Huh? Today, how many people are there? You can imagine. So for us, even within a few, let us say, months, the enthusiasm wanes. But Bhagavan can never happen. His enthusiasm, he never tires and his enthusiasm never wanes. And there is no variation also in his enthusiasm. So that is why he is Mahotsaha. Then Mahabalaha is the last nama of this sloka. The one who has got great strength, doesn't require much explanation at all. Balinam api balavatvat Mahabalaha, he says. He is Mahabala, Mahashaktiman. He is the what is called sigma strength of this entire prapancha. He is stronger than the strongest. Mahabala. He is almighty. So we don't. He is the one who creates this whole universe, and even for a small getting up from the floor, how much strength we require. Just imagine. At our age, of course, I'm not talking about youngsters. It is a big task if you sit on the floor. And if you happen to sit for half an hour, 45 minutes, gone. That is our condition. But he is Mahabala, the greatest, the one with the greatest strength. So that was the 31st sloka. Now we will read the next sloka. Mahabuddhir Mahavidyo Mahashaktir Mahadyutihi Anirdeshya Vapusriman Ameyatma Mahadridrik. So again, this sloka has got 8 namas. Mahabuddhihi, Mahaviryaha, Mahashaktihi, Mahadyutihi, Anirdeshya Vapuhu, Sriman, Ameyatma, Mahadridrik. So many Mahas are there, right? Mahamaya, Mahotsaha, Mahabalaha, Mahabuddhihi, Mahashaktihi, Mahavirya. So many Maha. Superlative. Bhagavan is just all superlatives only. The first one is Mahabuddhihi. Mahabuddhi, the one with the highest intelligent, highest intellectual prowess. Buddhimatamapi buddhimatvat Mahabuddhihi. Very simply Adi Shankara says. When we look around, or when we look at the Lord from the standpoint of our own buddhi or our own intellect, we realize that our buddhi is nothing but his glory only. And he is what? Buddhimatam buddhi. The intellect and intelligence of most brilliant people is nothing but the manifestation of the buddhi of Bhagavan. So the buddhi of Bhagavan is Mahati, the great, right? It has no limitation, rather, unlimited buddhi. Where with Bhagavan, with Ishvara, Everything is limitless only. That when it comes to buddhi, it is limitless. And buddhi, what is the purpose of buddhi? It is meant for knowledge. And that knowledge is complete in Parameshwara. We have seen this idea earlier also. Since we are endowed with the buddhi, what happens is from that standpoint, we try to imagine the buddhi of Parameshwara. This is our thinking. So any buddhi, what we need to understand, any buddhi which is there anywhere in this universe is the glory of Parameshwara only. It's a vibhuti of Parameshwara only. We must understand that. Oh, I am very intelligent. He is so intelligent. All very good. It is only that because of his past karmas, he has been chosen for the manifestation of the buddhi of Ishvara. That is how we have to understand. All glories belong to Ishvara only. If one has got a durbuddhi, negative qualities, always thinking crooked ways, that is also the vibhuti of Ishvara, we must understand. But there, that vibhuti of Ishvara is getting contaminated by the ego of the individual. Our buddhi, if we understand this as the glory of Ishvara, and if we understand with a greater purity of mind, it will never be durbuddhi, it will be sadbuddhi only always. But the moment we introduce this aspect of free will and ego along with this, then it becomes durbuddhi. That buddhi aspect of it is still the glory of Ishvara only. Only thing is we contaminated by our ahankara. So there are a lot of possibilities in the world. Various degrees or grades of this, right from the most sadbuddhi to the most durbuddhi. This range is there. What happens in durbuddhi is you have actually actualized the buddhi of glory of Ishvara, and the dur part of it is the contribution of our own ahankara. But that wrong thinking or the durbuddhi is also within the order of Ishvara. We must understand that. We are not separating ourselves from Ishvara. That also is within the order of Ishvara only rather. When we see in Gita, this Vishwarupa Darshanam, we will see all these things. Everything good, bad, ugly, everything is Ishvara only. We must never ever be under the impression that Ishvara means only good. Because our thinking has got contaminated by all these other cultures' thinking. There are sinners, there are people who do, good deeds. We are all sinners. We have to atone for all our sins. Somebody, without asking them, sacrificed his life for our sins. If somebody comes and says that, you have done a lot of sins, so I am going to give up my life, we will say, don't do it, please. Because indirectly, you are saying that I am taking your life. Because of my sins, you are giving up your life. That means I am doing ahimsa on you. Please don't do it. Don't please give up your life for myself. This is what we will say. But there are people say because of your sins, somebody gave up his life. So you have to atone for your sins. All these things, since we have been hearing in our schools and colleges and all that, and also with a lot of open society now, every time everything is flowing inside, our own thinking has become confused. So if there are sins, that sins are also part of Ishvara only. It is part of that order only. Because that possibility exists. Possibility of wrong thinking exists. That is why we think wrongly. And whatever exists is nothing but Ishvara. Existence is Ishvara. So that is why what we have to do is we have to reduce this contribution of our ego and then increase the Daivika aspect, bringing more and more Ishvara into our lives. Automatically, all this Durbuddhi part of it, because Durbuddhi, even though it is part of Ishvara, it creates an atmosphere which is not conducive for harmonious existence. So what we have to do, and everybody is capable of this Durbuddhi, because for all of us, ego does play a big part in our lives. The attitude of vengeance, jealousy, all this is all what Durbuddhi only, contribution of our ego. That we have to reduce. If we are in the spiritual path, we must reduce that and increase the buddhi of Ishvara, the glory of Ishvara. And studying Vishnu Sahasranamam, chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam with full understanding of what it is all about, is the purpose of doing this. That is the one of the ways we can do it. Reduce the Durbuddhi and increase the Sadbuddhi. Once we start seeing all our glories as the glories of Ishvara, the Ahankara gets subdued. It is not me. I am just an instrument. It is Ishvara's glory which is getting manifest through me. Once we start thinking in these ways, whatever achievements we could have, we would have got in our life, we will never attribute that achievement to ourselves. We will only thank Ishvara for choosing us to be the instrument for the manifestation of that glory. And Pujya Swamiji says this is not very easy to do. In the beginning, he says, you have to do it deliberately. One mind will say, hey, what are you doing? You are the one who has achieved all these things. You are great. Everybody says so. When you go on the stage, you see how many people are clapping for you. It is you who has achieved. Why does Ishvara and all come into you? Why you are bringing all this Ishvara business? So one part of the mind will give you these dialogues. It will boost your ego, make it more bloat. The ego will start bloating. Another part of the mind will say, hey, wait, my dear. What did Swamiji say in the last lecture? This is what he said, all your glories, whatever your achievements are, they are all glories of Ishvara. You must start looking at it, perceiving those glories in that manner. So there is a dialogue goes on in between two personalities within us. Initially, the one which is saying that it is all glory of Ishvara has to go on pounding this message to the other personality. Deliberately, every time it comes, oh, sir, you are very great. In your mind, you may say it, you will not say it openly also. I am not great, it is Ishvara who is great. In your mind, you can say that deliberately. Even though you like, somebody is praising you, you like it very much. No, who does not like praise? But in your mind, you put a barrier. You just tell him, thank you, thank you. But in your mind, you say, it is all Ishvara. That is how deliberately you start. Once you start doing this continuously, after some time, which Swamiji says, this will become your nature. It will become spontaneous. And that can be achieved only we are able to understand all the glories of Ishvara. And that is the purpose of this Vishnu Sahasranama. At least 1,000 glories of Ishvara are projected here in Vishnu Sahasranama. But it is not limited to 1,000. 1,000 is only a sample. Once we understand these 1,000 glories of Ishvara, then any other glory which may not be included in this 1,000, if we come across, automatically our mind will say, if the 1,000 are glories of Ishvara, this glory which is not a part of the 1,000 is also a glory of Ishvara only. That way, any glory that we see in any person, in any part of this prapancha, all are glories of Ishvara only. So when you go on recognizing this fact, finally what you will find is what is there is only glories of Bhagavan. And our own presence is very, very minimal. Our own presence means I am talking about our presence as a egoistic individual with this body, mind, sense complex. Let that body be very, very handsome body with all 6-pack, 8-packs, business and all that. With the best of these, healthy conditions and all, whatever may be there, we will start understanding is this is nothing in front of the glories of Ishvara. We will understand that our presence is more felt in anger, insecurity, frustration, fear, whereas the presence of Ishvara is found in love, compassion, caring, in being consistent in what we do. This is how we will start understanding the relationship, what this ego is about and what Ishvara is about. And this, if we study Vishnu Sahasranama with all our involvement, with our mind being totally engaged in this will be the result of studying Vishnu Sahasranama. Our ego will be diluted to a large extent, and our intellect, Chitta Shuddhi, will increase to a large extent. And that will make it a very ideal buddhi for us to pursue studies of Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, all that, and understand what the Upanishads say is a secret knowledge. Understand the secret of this entire prapancha. That secret, even if you tell the people who don't have Chitta Shuddhi, they will not be able to understand that secret. That is why it is secret. It is what we call an open secret. It is openly declared what it is, but people will not understand. Only very few people who have actually gone through all these sadhanas, understood the first secret is to understand that secret, you must first clean up your mind, your intellect, your buddhi. Then you require chitta naischalyam, you require concentration. For that, you need to do meditation as a sadhana, upasana. Only those people who understand all these secrets, they will be able to reach to a stage where they, at least they will, whenever they listen to the Upanishad, they will make sense of it. Other people will not make any sense of what is being told. So that is the Mahabuddhihi. Ishvara is the great intelligence, the great buddhi. Then Mahavirya. Virya means power. So Mahavirya means the one who has got the greatest power. Mahat utpatti karanam maya lakshanam viryam asya iti Mahavirya. So he's again bringing the aspect of the creation of this universe along with Maya. So we know that this Jagat is a creation. The non-dual Brahman, the limitless consciousness, is the creator. Satchidananda Swarupa, that's the creator. But being just consciousness, it cannot create anything. Because Brahman as such is not capable of any action. Brahman has got no, first of all, no shape, no form is there, no limbs are there. So Brahman on its own cannot create anything. But we say Brahman is the creator. And we see the whole creation is there. We cannot just dismiss this creation as non-existent. So we cannot negate this creation which is there. We are experiencing this creation. Even when we say a square circle, we say square circle does not exist. It is non-existent. But behind that statement, our thinking is there is something called circle which exists. That is why square circle is non-existent. Now, what is a circle? A circle is a closed line and it does not have a beginning or end. This is a circle. And what is a line? A line is made up of a series of points. This is all definition, scientific definition of circle and line and all, right? So a line, a circle is it's a closed line, does not have a beginning or an end. A line is a series of points. And what is a point? Point is that which occupies no space. That is the definition of point. See the interesting. Lord Puja Swamiji's contribution, tremendous. How his thinking is in terms of presenting these names. So a point is that which occupies no space. We say that a series of points make a length, but at the same time, a point does not occupy any space. So if a circle is made up of a series of points which occupy no space, the circle actually cannot exist, isn't it? Logically. Still it appears to exist. We say circle is. This is Maya. when there is, then we ourselves define a point as that which does not occupy any space. And when we put a series of those points together to make it a line, logically the line also should not occupy any space, because individually no space is occupied, so collectively also no space should be occupied. And that line, we make it into a circle, give it a shape, so the circle also should not occupy any space. I'm talking logically analyzing this. But in our experience, we see a circle. We experience a circle. We see the circle occupying a space. In a page, if we draw a circle, it occupies a certain space in that page. This is what is Maya. Appears, which is not there actually, but appears to be there for all our intents and purposes. Therefore, we cannot say the circle is existing, and we can also not say the circle is non-existent. Isn't it? From one standpoint, the circle exists because we experience it. But from another standpoint, from the standpoint of the fact that a point, which is a series of points makes the circle, that point occupies no space, hence it cannot exist. So this is how we have to understand Maya. We can neither say the prapancha exists, nor we can say the prapancha does not exist. That is why in Shastras it is called what? Sad asadbhyam anirvachaniyam. Sad means that which exists. Asad means that which does not exist. So what the Shastras say is, it does not exist, but it appears to exist. That is why it is anirvachaniyam. It cannot be described at all. This prapancha cannot be described in any specific, with any specific vocabulary. You cannot describe this prapancha. Sadasadbhyam anirvachaniyam. Therefore, as long as we don't inquire into it, it exists. Once we start inquiring into the reality of this entire world, this prapancha, this universe, we will find that slowly the existence goes away, melts away, disappears. If the point does not occupy any space, means the point means that it does not exist, because anything to say that it exists, it should occupy some space. And the definition is point is that which does not occupy any space. Therefore, what happens? When we put that points together and make it a line, the line is a myth. Line is a myth, therefore a circle also is a myth. And if we analyze like this, we will find that the whole creation is a myth. That's why it is called mithya or Maya. But this is the creation of Ishvara. That's what we keep on saying, Shastras say. And therefore, it cannot be dismissed as non-existent also. And at the same time, it cannot pass as existent also. So to create this whole great illusion of that which does not exist but appears to exist, that requires a very great power. And that is why he is Mahavirya. That power is the power of Maya Shakti, the magical power. So the power itself as good as the creation itself. The Maya itself is Mahavirya, the great power and skill of Parameshwara. Because he possesses this Maya. Mama Maya, my Maya, says Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita. He possesses this Maya, he is called Mahavirya. Great power. You can just imagine this, the glory of that Ishvara is what we experience when we go to magic shows. Those magicians who do all these things, when there's something non-existing, they make it appear as if it is existing. That power which the magicians have is nothing but that glory of that Ishvara's power, which is manifesting through that magician at that particular point in time. When we go to a magic show and understand this, when we see the magic show, if we understand that this whole prapancha is nothing but a magic show, we will actually appreciate Ishvara. See, this small magician, we are in wonderment how he is able to do all these things. We wonder how he is taking out a rabbit out of a hat or whatever it is. I mean, so many different tricks. And these days, if you watch this, some WhatsApp message, YouTube and I don't know, Facebook and all, so many things come. So different types of magic people perform. Amazing magic. And you just imagine if this one individual can perform this kind of magic, what kind of a magic the Ishvara is performing day in and day out, to show this entire world as existing, whereas in actuality it doesn't exist. This is Mahavirya. Then Mahashakti, not very much different from Mahavirya, right? There, Mahavirya is the power of creation. And Mahashakti is the one who has got immense skill and power. So, Mahavirya was told in relation to creation and resolution. And Mahashakti is the Nama which is told in relation to the sustenance of this entire universe. Using his this Mahavirya, these magical powers, the whole, along with Maya, of course, we must always remember that this entire prapancha has been created. Once the creation is there, it has to be sustained, isn't it? A child is born, it has to be fed. For the child to grow, and the creation also is growing continuously. So, Ishvara also requires the Shakti, Mahashakti, for sustaining this entire creation. And for resolution also this Mahashakti is required, isn't it? Just a person, when he goes wild, how much power you require to actually subdue that person? Whether it is a person or an animal or whatever it is, Mahashakti is required. Because some people, they can create, but they cannot withdraw. They don't know how to stop what they have created. And that is why we see all these TV serial, these soaps. They will start, some producer. The story will go on. People will enjoy it. But they don't know where to stop it. It will just go on and on and on and on. They don't know how to end. Some movies also we have seen. They will start an all big fanfare, but they don't know how to end the movie, how to end the story. So some people are good at starting things, but they are not very good at closing things. On the other hand, there are people who are very good at creating problems, but they cannot solve the problems. They are very good in creating. Ask them for solutions, they won't have any. But problem, they will point out. Anything that you tell them, first thing that they will tell you is a problem in what you are saying. And if you tell them, okay, fine, I recognize there is a problem, what do you think is the solution? That I don't know. I only know the problem. Such people are existing. I mean, we come across such people in our daily lives. Very expert in pointing out problems. So some, they create, they don't know how to withdraw, how to stop the creation. There are some who create problems, but they don't know what is the solution. They have no skill to solve the problem also, rather. Apart from the point that they don't know how to do it, the knowledge is not there. They don't even possess the skill to solve the problem. And what happens is, by not taking the right step at the right time, the problems get magnified, become bigger problems. It is like, a fire which becomes a big conflagration, then it cannot be put out. It would have started as some small fire. This is how we come across a lot of characters in our life. And the Lord has created this entire world, and he has to eventually take it back unto himself. For that, he requires immense power. And he takes it back, resolves this entire prapancha at his own will. It is driven by the law of his order, rather. There certain things have to come together when there is going to be the curtains down for this prapancha. Thus, he is Mahashakti, the great power both to create and also to withdraw this entire world, rather. And for withdrawal also, it is not that he requires a great amount of time and all that. It's a process. Just like the creation is a process, the dissolution or going from manifest to unmanifest condition is also a process. The creation process is reversed. That's what happens. In Tattvabodha class, I have explained how the creation process happens with a Chaturvimshati Tattva Utpatti Prakaram, 24 elements and elementals, how they are created from Brahman and Maya. This was explained. So those who are Tattvabodha students continuing in this class can recall those notes of what. So at the reverse process goes, in dissolution, the reverse process takes place. So that is Mahashaktihi. Then Mahadyutihi. Dyuti means brilliance. The one who has got the greatest brilliance. Mahati Dyutihi Bhakyabhyantara cha asya iti Mahadyutihi. He is the creator of the universe and he is the one who sustains it. And the brilliance which is required to run this whole universe must be very great, isn't it? Even when somebody is successfully running a company, we say he is a brilliant guy, successfully From a scratch, he has built this company into such a huge one. People respect Narayana Murthy for that. Narayana Murthy, isn't it? Infosys, yeah. From a scratch, he built such a huge company, such a brilliant person. That's what we say. So just for one company's sake, we attribute so much brilliance. Just imagine from nothing, I wouldn't say from nothing, from his own self to create this entire universe, this multifaceted, multivaried, multifunctional, all multi only in this universe. This universe, what kind of a brilliance should Ishvara possess? All three Shaktis, Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti are under his control. All powers to create, sustain and resolve this universe under his control. And they are all there in him in limitless measure. And Bhagavan being self-effulgent, because he is of the nature of consciousness, and consciousness is self-effulgent. It is all pervasive and it is limitless also. So because he is limitless Dhyuti, here we have to take the meaning of Dhyuti. Effulgence means consciousness. He has Mahati Dhyuti, the great brilliance needed for this creation, sustenance, and also resolution. Resolution, of course, is consciousness is still there, but the Nama Rupa Jagat goes back into seed form. So he is Mahadyutihi. The next Nama is Anirdeshya Vapuhu. Anirdeshya Vapuhu is more or less the meaning is the one who cannot be defined categorically. It is more or like Anirbachaniya. Anirdeshya Vapuhu. Adi Shankara says, Idam tat iti nirdeshtum yatna shakyate parasmai swasamvedhyatvat tat anirdeshyam vapuhu asya iti anirdeshya vapuhu. Very little expanded meaning he gives. So we have seen so many qualities of this Bhagavan. Natural question in our mind is, who is this Bhagavan? How does he look like? Isn't it? So if the question comes immediately, Vishnu Sahasranamam says he is Anirdeshya Vapuhu. One whose form cannot be pointed out as this or that. You cannot say Idam Tat. This is Bhagavan, who cannot point out at all. If at all you want to say what is the form, Virat is the form of Bhagavan. Every form is the form of Bhagavan. That's why he is Virat. He has the whole world, the whole prapancha as his Sharira. And what is the truth of his Sharira? The truth of his form is that it is no form. It is formless. The formless cannot have a form, isn't it? Otherwise, there will be contradiction. You say formless and then you have a form. Hence, it is again Maya or magic. That which is formless appears to be having a form in the form of this entire world. Maya. So no particular form can be attributed as the form of Bhagavan. But forms we are experiencing, and we say the whole prapancha is, the name and form is nothing but Ishvara. Now you say it's a formless, that it has a form, and that form is again formless. If you go on doing it, you go to infinite regression. Right? You will not reach to any conclusion whether it has got a form or it does not have got a form. Okay. Therefore, we have to say, as Pujya Swamiji points out, that the form is an attribute of a formless. This is why many people get totally confused about our Sanatana Dharma. Whenever we are attributing forms to Ishvara, to God, they say that on the one hand, you say God is formless. On the other hand, you call all these forms as gods. We are not able to understand. They won't understand. Many of us don't understand. It requires a very subtle intellect to understand. It requires an intellect which understands first the truth of this entire universe. Then only you can understand what is formless Ishvara, and then what is formed Ishvara. Ishvara with forms. Otherwise, to say that a formless as a form will appear to be a contradiction only. And that is why this truth also is a secret. This entire knowledge which we are getting, from the Upanishads, they are not meant for ordinary common people. You cannot get the benefit of that knowledge unless you are prepared for this, you are qualified for that knowledge. So first, before getting that knowledge, one needs to earn those qualifications. Once the qualifications come, understanding these concepts and all become very easy. So that is why we say that this is magic, this is Maya. And that is the truth also. It's all appearances. Because if we reduce the Lord to any particular form, that means what? We are limiting that limitless Lord. So we cannot limit that which is limited, limitless rather. Vapus generally means the body, the form. But it can also mean Swarupa, Vapus. So the one whose Swarupa cannot be categorically pointed out as this or that is Anirdeshya Vapuhu. Because when you say Satchit Ananda, they are words with which we cannot actually capture what Satchidananda means. We just use the word consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is that which is self-effulgent. Okay, what does that mean? Consciousness is that which is all-pervading. Okay, what does that mean? Can you show me that consciousness? You cannot show. It does not have a form. So what are you talking? Consciousness and all. So even when we talk in terms of Swarupa of Bhagavan, of Ishvara, Parameshwara, it cannot be captured by words, it cannot be objectified as the direct meaning of those words. Even when we say Sat, Ishvara, Parameshwara is Satyam, what do we mean? Existence, pure existence. Can you show me pure existence? You cannot show pure existence. You can show existence only through certain objects which are existing. which we accept as existing. Otherwise, existence as such, we cannot show to anybody. But the word we can say, oh, it is Sat means existence. But show me that, you can't show pure existence. At best, we can say it's a concept. But that existence gets transferred. That is what lends existence to this pen, this flask, this book, this laptop. If we say that, the easiness which is there, when say laptop is, the pen is, the flask is, that is, which we say is what is existence. If we tell people, very few people will understand. So, even when the Upanishad says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, they use words just to maximum try to describe what they want to say. They are again not direct meaning, but indirect meaning of the word. We have to take the indirect meaning of these words rather. Because his Swarupa, Ishvara Swarupa is limitless and infinite in everywhere. And limitlessness cannot be captured by word. What is limitless? What is infinity? How do you actually describe infinity? Even mathematical terms, impossible. You cannot add anything to infinity. You cannot reduce anything from infinity. But you want to show infinity, like numbers are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, we know. How do you show infinity? Like a 8 which is sleeping. That you understand, okay, this is infinity. But you can't describe what is infinity. Isn't it? That is why he is Anirdeshya Vapuhu. So with this world as his Sharira, he is Anirdeshya Vapuhu, and without the world also, he is Anirdeshya Vapuhu only. Isn't it? So either when the world exists or doesn't exist, both in his form, with the form Swarupa and without form Swarupa, he is Anirdeshya Vapuhu. I think it's time now. We will stop. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Namaste,
Thank
Guruji.
you, Guruji. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Mama.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Hari Om.
Harihi Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om. I think after the class, it is very entertaining to stay back and listen to all the conversations.
Somebody's on mute, Guruji. Unmute.
Yeah. See, it's okay if you unmute, but if you start talking to somebody else about your private life and all that, it's very interesting, very entertaining rather. More entertaining than Vishnu Sahasranamam class.
Guruji, I have a point.
Yes, please.
You said Durbuddhi is the order of Ishvara.
Yeah.
Can I request you to explain again, sir?
Yes. See, everything that is there in this entire world is comes within the order of Ishvara. Correct? That's the first point we need to understand. Whether it is good, bad, ugly, everything is within the order. Now, what happens is Ishvara has also given us human beings, only human beings, something called a free will and a ego. That ego arises because of the free will only, right? I think I will need to mute other people so that there is no disturbance. Otherwise, other people, those who are not asked the question, can mute themselves. So this free will has been given to human beings. Now, using that free will, which is what gives rise to this ego, the buddhi, which is the order which has been given by Ishvara to us, we have an option to use that buddhi either positively or negatively. Right? So whenever we are talking about the durbuddhi, we still talk about the buddhi only, which is the order of Ishvara, which is the glory of Ishvara. But the dur part of it, what happens is our contribution from an ego standpoint. My God, this is really becoming very disturbing with so many fights going on now. I don't know from where it is happening because there are 2-3 people who are unmuted. Okay, I will mute all in any case because only listen. Okay. So this dur part of it is our contribution. When we override using our free will, that glory of Ishvara, which is basically the buddhi which has been given to us. So how do we avoid this durbuddhi and stick strictly to the order of the glory of Ishvara is by diluting our ego, giving up the free will. And that is what we call Sharanagati. What is Sharanagati is nothing but reducing the role of free will, the role of our ego in our lives. And for doing that, it's like the camel and Arab story. You know the story, camel and Arab, that story, the more camel comes in, the Arab goes out. Similarly, more and more Ishvara you bring into our lives, this durbuddhi business, this which is prompted by our ego, and by the use of our free will, the role of that will get reduced, and they will be thrown out like the Arab is thrown out of the tent. Eventually, Jnani, who is a Mahatma, he does not have any free will at all. He does not exercise any free will. He has totally surrendered to the order of Ishvara. So he has no durbuddhi at all. So whenever we talk of sadbuddhi or durbuddhi, everything is based upon the buddhi, which is nothing but the glory of Ishvara, and which is a part of the entire cosmic intelligence, as we call it. That is what is reflected in our intelligence also. But unfortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately, there is a design. Bhagavan has done this. If he has given us a free will, that free will is also part of the order of Ishvara only. Isn't it? Nothing is outside the order of Ishvara. But Bhagavan has given us this free will to choose what we want to do with our lives. Those are facts which we never even realize, rather. That this human birth that we have got is a very rare occurrence in this entire universe. If you look at all the living things, all the jivas, animals, plants, how many species are there? How many varieties are within one species itself? How many varieties are there? All are living things. Out of all those, how many human beings are there? So Bhagavan has given this, because of our past karmas only, this human birth. But at the same time, he has set a very tough question paper for us. How to lead this life. He has given a full manual in terms of the Vedas and Upanishads, and which Vyasacharya, the great Rishi, has actually condensed it in the form of a Bhagavad Gita and given it to us. So it's a very, very wonderful situation we are in. And then in order to test how we actually use all these things, he gave us a free will also. I'm now giving you a free will. Now let me see how you use your free will and conduct your life. In what way you take your life, in what path you take your life. That is the challenge Bhagavan has given us. So it is for us to understand all these things and reduce the role of that durbuddhi in our life and increase the role of sadbuddhi in our life. So as such, the whole concept of this intelligence, cosmic intelligence, is the glory of Ishvara, which glory is reflected in each one of us by the intellect that we possess, our buddhi which we possess. Is that clear?
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you?
Thank you.
Guruji,
Yeah.
now when you say Bhagavan is formless, now does it indirectly answer the question, or however you look at it? The other community, when they go to the place of their prayer, they have nothing. They only look towards west and then conduct their prayers.
Why do they look towards west?
Now that is their holy place exist.
Correct? The holy place as a form?
True, but in our case, when we go to a temple or any place of worship, we have Bhagavan in the form of a murti or some image.
Correct. Right.
Correct?
But how does it matter? I'm asking you a question. People salute a flag.
Correct.
What is that? It is a symbol of something, a nation.
That's correct.
You pay respect to that nation by saluting the flag. Correct?
True.
Now you face west because there is a place, it's holy place in the direction of west.
Correct.
That holy place is nothing but a symbol of divinity so far as they are concerned. They pray.
But they don't keep. Correct.
Let me complete. They look at that, visualize that
True.
divinity in that, because if they say God is everywhere, then there should not be any direction for God, isn't it?
That's true.
True. So
Like
my
when-
point is, if we actually go to a temple and in our imagination, we have given a form of a human being to a formless God. Now, all religions, they say about formlessness only. But everybody points out the forms that we have. Nobody talks about the forms that they have. Go to any church. Have you seen any church without the form or the photo, or at least the statue of Jesus Christ?
Cross is already,
Cross.
cross will be there.
Then what is that? Then you say, they criticize us that you have got
True.
gods which have got form.
Correct.
See, our visualization of forms, we have got more imagination. So we have different forms. That's all. So that is how we have to understand. There is, you see, I will actually in Bhagavad Gita class, in the next class probably, I will talk about these aspects rather.
Okay.
Why rituals are important, I will talk about that. Because there are certain things which are common to all religions, certain things make religions different. When we talk about the Kula Dharma and all that, I will talk in that context about rituals. So what I'm trying to tell you is, all religions have got the same kind of a structure rather. Formless, being given a form and worshipping that form, or at least visualizing that form and worshipping. It is only that the difference is in details. That's all. Now, in our religion, we go further ahead. We not only go to a temple and worship, we see a tree and we worship that tree.
Correct.
We see a serpent, which is a poisonous serpent, we worship that serpent. Because truly, for us, the entire prapancha, we take it as Ishvara only.
Ishvara.
So in any form, we see Ishvara. Serpent is nothing but a example of the entire animal kingdom. We depict our gods and goddesses riding on animals. The moment you see Devi sitting on a lion, immediately you not only are worshipping that Devi's form,
But
you are
also a
also
lion.
worshipping that lion's form. Vinayaka's Vahana is a rat, which in our house, if we see, we will take a chappal or a broomstick to kill, right? But when that same rat we see in the photo of Vinayaka, we will do namaskara to that rat. So when it's much more in-depth so far as our religion is concerned. Otherwise, in basics, in terms of forms, in terms of symbols, in terms of the worshipping, in terms of visualization, in terms of the attitude towards the divinity, is the same in all religions, except that they differ in details. Some are more profound, like our religions, very profound. Some are very restricted, and some are somewhere in between, rather. That is how we have to understand. Otherwise, every religion says that God is formless. Whether you talk about other two religions, the Abrahamic religions or in our religion, the starting point is God is formless. But then we attribute some symbols, some forms, some things to that. Because we have to relate. Human intellect is like that. If you say formless, we will not understand anything. We can understand formlessness only when we reach that level of spirituality. When we see formless in all the forms, that requires a very high intellectual achievement from a spirituality point of view. But that only very few Mahatmas are able to do that. At our level, we will have to be satisfied with the fact that in our intellectually understand Bhagavan is formless, but we have no access to that formlessness. So we actually access that formless Bhagavan through the formed or through these forms.
We assign the form and then accordingly.
We assign a form and then invoke that formlessness in that form, and then we visualize that formless in that. So that is the process that we adopt.
I think this concept is there in Chidambaram.
Chidambaram, it is there.
Chidambaram Rahasyam, where there is
Akasha.
formless. There is formless and form, both.
Yeah, both is there. In Chidambaram, both Nataraja is there, and there is Akasha is also there, formless.
Akasha.
Yes, which is formless.
Which is formless. So we have to actually upgrade our understanding, upgrade our knowledge. It's a continuous process. That's why I keep on saying, what has happened is most of us have studied some Puranas or heard some, Bhagavata Purana and all. We have stopped there. We have not even graduated to Bhagavad Gita level. Forget Upanishads. So our understanding of our religion is actually frozen at the Purana level, which actually is, according to me, a high school level maximum, you can say. We have not even gone to a bachelor's degree level so far as understanding of our religion is concerned. What to talk of post-graduation. So that is where we get all this confusion. Somebody asks us something, we are unable to explain all these things. And then people will mock at us, make fun of us. This is the problem. So it's all there. We have to live with it. At the end of the day, spirituality, I say, is an individual pursuit. If I understand, I am very happy. If I'm able to make a few more people understand, that adds to the happiness. Otherwise, if they don't understand, so long as I am happy, I understand, I am okay, fine. I am on my right path. That is what it's a very selfish, what I would say, goal. But spirituality is all individual. I mean, this journey is an individual journey. Even a guru cannot help you in this journey. Guru can only guide you. You have to do the journey yourself. by
Like
understanding.
you can take a horse to water, can't make him drink.
Not make it drink. Guru can take you to, he can admit you to the Gurukulam and he can teach you what the scriptures say, how you absorb it, how you actually understand it. It is your own, commitment to that. So this is the difference. Actually speaking, at a core level, there is no difference. But at the same time, we cannot say that all religions say the same thing. They don't say the same thing. We cannot accept that. Our religion is much more profound in its details, in terms of unraveling this, what Bhagavan is. Whereas those people, according to my theory, is that all these religions are nothing but an offshoot from our religion only. Some people read the parts and parcels of our Puranas and all that, and they created their own company to serve a certain a set of people. The advantage they have is most of the people, they are at that intellectual level only, so they relate to it much better. And when we talk about all this formlessness and Brahman and Satchidananda and all, nothing goes into the head. So they address a population where their intellectual level is that high school level, so they are satisfied, so they follow them. Whereas when you come to Upanishads and all, it will be beyond their understanding. They have to develop few more births they have to take. Where everybody, according to our scriptures, is in the path only. Somebody is there far behind, somebody is ahead. That's all. Eventually, all jivas have to find their end only in the final goal, which is Paramatma. That is what is the final. Now, how many crores of births that is going to take is anybody's guess rather. And depend upon all your karmas, what you have done, what punyas you have earned, how many, because this can be done only in human birth, in no other birth. So how many human births you are going to earn to, speed up this process, all these things are all factors involved in this.
So in every birth, you have to make your own balance sheet.
Every birth, you have to make your balance sheet. So at least in this birth, what we should do, we should try to do those things which will give us a human birth in the next birth. And for that, I say the greatest secret is this self-knowledge, pursuing self-knowledge.
Correct.
Because for that, there is a pramana. Bhagavan says to Arjuna, Arjuna asked this question, all this fine Krishna, suppose I do all these sadhanas and I pursue this self-knowledge and I die. That means what? In the next janma, I have to start from zero or what? Bhagavan says, no, Arjuna, that's not like that. In fact, you will get the next janma, you will be born in a family, in a society, which will actually help you to continue this self-knowledge from where you left off in the previous.
It's a credit point there.
So the credit point go there. So that helps us two things. One is a guarantee that if we actually pursue this path, this self-knowledge, we will get a human birth, because only in human birth this can be found. Next birth will be human birth. And second point is that we will not need to redo all these things. We will continue from where we left off. And for that, there is a very great proof in Puja Swamiji. Because Puja Swamiji's story, if you listen, up to the age of 30, 32, he was working in some private companies and all that, some publishers, I don't exactly remember. He was working there. Then his cousin was there who used to attend Chinmayananda's lectures. And he used to ask Puja Swamiji, why don't you come along with me in Chennai? Swami Chinmayananda's classes were there. But Puja Swamiji never had any belief in all these things. So he never used to go along with him. One fine day, the cousin dragged him. And there, Swami Chinmayananda was teaching Mandukya Upanishad. And Puja Swamiji says, when I listened to that Mandukya Upanishad lectures, I felt as if I have heard all these things earlier.
Oh.
This is Puja Swamiji himself has told. It did not appear to me like something, which I did not know.
Something new.
Very familiar I was with what was being taught. Then he said, I realized that there is something truth in all these things. And that is why, of course, after that also he got into spirituality, then he got disillusioned. Then he says, I threw away all the books and all that. But again, he got back into it. That's a different story rather. But what I'm saying is, what Krishna says, at least we have got one example in my personal experience, Pujya Swamiji saying, this is what happened with me when I came to spirituality. So that will happen. So we have got a guarantee. Pursue this with all seriousness. Even if you don't get moksha in this life, so long as you are in the right path, you will keep on getting human births and then moksha will come nearer and nearer and nearer. Moksha means what? Understanding, realizing that I was never bound. That understanding is what is moksha. Otherwise, it is not a destination to be reached at all. It is only an understanding which has to be, what I would say, internalized. That I was never bound. What moksha I am talking about. But to get that understanding, we have to go through all these things. So like that, we have to take all the messages which are there in our Shastras. And they're so profound. In fact, no other religion talk about all these things at all. That is because the people who follow that religion are incapable at their present level of intellectual ability to understand any of these things. That is what it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So
Thank
shall
you,
we
Ji.
close the session or any more questions are there?
Hari Om Guruji.
Okay, Hari Om. Thank you all.
Thank
See
you.
you next Sunday.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari
Thank
Om.
you. Hari Om.